And welcome to another Nerds Amalgamated episode. I am the DJ, and with me today I have Bucky.
Hello.
How's it going, Buck?
I'm marvellous. Yourself?
Oh, yeah, I'm going well. I'm going good. Another fun day, another fun episode.
That's it. We're always about fun.
Oh, yeah.
We may not always be educational, but we are always entertaining.
Yeah. All good. Good to inspire the next generation.
What next generation? They're all going to be dead.
I wouldn't worry about inspiring a generation, just inspire someone.
And the voice...
There's a big difference between inspiring the next generation to do great things and inspiring the next Hitler.
Hitler was cool.
Oh, are we really going to play that line?
We are so getting banned from everything.
Yep.
What you mean is Hitler was cool because he was on top of a mountain where it was cold.
Well, at the start, like a lot of the stuff he did was pretty good for Germany. It was just later on he went crazy. You got that line, absolute power corrupts absolutely. He had absolute power.
Yep, brought his unfriendly side to the surface.
Yeah, and it wasn't just him. Like, you had all the rest of the guys around him that were doing stuff, and it just fed on each other.
Yeah, and
I hope we're not inspiring that kind of person.
And the voice and the other person you hear was the professor.
Hello.
I know the next generation. I hope we don't raise the next Hitler in the next generation. I'm hoping that.
We probably won't, because we're all going to be dead. Nuclear war, baby.
Yeah, besides, we got Donald Trump. We don't need another Hitler. We already got one.
Really? Trump? I was thinking more Kim Jong-il. Or Un, I mean.
Well, when you
he has like one nuke.
When you can figure out how to pronounce his name, we can worry about him.
Oh, man, that's so going to be bad when North Korea starts attacking America, if it ever happens.
What do you mean, if they start attacking? They're at war for a number of years. You do realise that?
Yeah, I do realise that. I meant North Korea trying to attack America now would be kind of frightening if they start launching missiles.
Well, they have done that under the guise of a missile test, but it just wasn't good enough.
Fair enough. Anyways, let's get the show on the road. So I've got a good anime series that you guys would love to check out. It's called Dr. Stone, and it is coming out on July 5th. So that's a couple of hours away. And
you've just revealed our recording date. Now the time travelers will know exactly where to find me when they come to assassinate me.
So the premise for this story is basically humanity has all of a sudden is encased in stone, and thousands of years have passed, and humanity is slowly coming out of the stone statues. And some of the survivors are trying to figure out how to cure the stone curse, basically.
Okay.
So it's directed by Shinya Lino for TMS Entertainment, and it stars Yasuka Kobayashi, who was famous for anime series such as RE0, Starting Your Life in Another World. Makoto Furukawa who voices Saitama in One Punch Man, and a couple of other stars.
So this is basically that mannequin challenge from a couple of years ago gone into overdrive, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh man, the mannequin challenge. That's a long time ago. Far out. God, I feel so old now.
You look at.
Well, what do you think though? Like, do you reckon it's a good premise?
Pretty much anything can be a good premise for an anime. It's just how it's executed. And looking at the short we've got for this, it's not looking too bad. As long as it doesn't have everyone standing there for an entire episode just screaming.
But that's a cool. I love that premise. How they're saying that they're going to use science to try and rebuild the world from scratch.
Well, that's what they've done in a number of different anime.
The story reminds me of I Am Legend as well, if you think about it.
You've lost me there. Where are you going with this?
So the story about the guy surrounded by bloodthirsty monsters, and the story about the people who turned to stone. Similar stories.
In terms of the last few humans on Earth kind of thing, yeah.
So
then-
this
now
is
they-
about the people coming back to life.
Yeah, but this is
So
after
it's more of an Adam and Eve scenario.
Yeah.
Although from the shot that I saw, it was two blokes, so it's an Adam and Steve. My goodness, the liberals in America are going to be
This is
jumping
the
up and
gay-
down.
This is the gay agenda.
Oh,
The liberals in America are going to have their faces melting. Oh my goodness.
this is so. You guys hyped up for this anime?
I don't watch anime enough to care, so no.
I won't say hyped up, but I'll probably check it out at some point.
I'm hyped up to go and watch Stranger Things once we're done here.
But I gotta admit though, like I'd like to see more of this type of like end of world scenario type anime series. Like we had
There isn't enough of that in anime already.
the last big one, the last good one we've seen was Evangelion, and that came out on Netflix recently, and the feedback from it was pretty bad.
So let me get this straight. Like, yeah, I overlooked Attack on Titan.
I don't know what Attack on Titan is based on real world scenario though. Like
What an Evangelion is?
no, as in like it's based on like cities and like technology and stuff. Like Attack on Titan doesn't feel like it feels like steampunk, while Attack on Titan and Doctor Stone is basically based on this era kind of thing.
What? Evangelion's supposed to be future.
It's supposed to be future, but then
How long ago did you last watch Evangelion?
2 or 3 years back.
You need to go and check out the plot synopsis.
Because you've also got Mobile Suit Gundam that talks about end of civilization scenarios a couple of times. Whether it's in Iron Blood, Orphans, or 00. You got heaps of different ones. That seems to be the common premise is unifying the world because it's facing extinction.
Which, guys, just another couple of degrees hotter. Surely we'll get around to that one day.
Well, actually, we got, what is it, the Tartarus sunspot? Supposed to help raise the temperature of the planet.
Oh, great. As if I don't sweat enough already.
Well, we could always give you a couple of heaters and get you to wear a few jumpers. Dress up as Doctor Who.
No, because I have a fourth Doctor costume with the handmade scarf made myself, and I cannot physically wear it even in winter because I will literally die.
Now, is that a reality or just an over-exaggeration?
It's a reality. Every time I've worn it, I've had to take it off several times during the event.
Uh-huh. I was just thinking maybe we could test this hypothesis.
Why would you want to kill me?
I didn't say kill you, just torture you a little bit, just to see how far we can go. Just, I keep torturing the DJ, so I figured have a bit of time
See if I can
torturing you for a change.
see if I can find the photos of it because I sweat a lot wearing it. Like my face is just glistening.
I shouldn't pick on you too much for that. I do the same. You and I were two guys that were sitting at Supernova sweating.
Yeah, the ventilation in those convention halls is always awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus we were on Friday, so that was kind of a damper.
Why?
I don't know. It was pretty good, I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get you, but it was just not many people.
I was surprised by how busy it was on a Friday.
There was
Really?
plenty of people there. I had fun. We had lots of people come past the booth.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. True.
You were
Right.
running around all the time, and
Handing out business cards and everything.
well, we don't know what you're doing. You said you were handing out business cards.
I did. I did
think-
hand.
I think you were checking out a couple of the actors that were there.
Well, if I can afford to pay for an autograph session, maybe.
But yeah, no, honestly, this anime is looking pretty cool though. So yeah, I'll probably check it out. Could be worth giving a look at.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So we've got you, Bucky. You've got a story about brain circuits.
Well, yeah, it's actually the three distinct sections of the brain are involved in decision making, whether it's good or bad decisions. And there's actually a study being done that looks at exactly how they operate, because everyone always keeps saying it all decision making is conducted in the prefrontal cortex, or the prefrontal lobe. And the reality is that Yale researchers have found 3 distinct circuits connected in different patterns and so forth in decision making, and looking at the way that if there's damage or something like that for mental health disorders such as addiction and so forth, and the impact that has on decision making. So yeah, like if you go to a restaurant every week for a few months and you've always had good food, and then the last time you go there, for some reason you got a bad meal or bad service, how you react to that is an example of bad and good decision making. So some people will see that and just go, no, I'm not going back, ignoring all the previous good experiences. And yeah, so they're testing on rats in this case, but they're not actually hurting them. They're just activating behaviors and studying the way the brains are working.
So in this case, would you say that it disproves the whole concept of how humans are creatures of habit?
Well, it's part of that, but there's a lot more to it, because this is looking at the concept of schemas and memory formation. So yeah,
I like to see this type of programming done on computers, and how the computer would make an algorithm out of this. This will be interesting.
I think what he's trying to say is that it would be interesting to see a machine learning model inspired by this.
Well, there's most of your coding for computer programs operates in a similar manner already, because you've got if, then, else functions in most coding programs. So like you have the if such and such happens, then do such and such, else continue as normal or blow up, as some computers seem to do. So yeah, it's already like there's a lot of this sort of stuff that's already in a lot of it, but it's shifting away the focus of all decision making is conducted purely in the one section of the brain there, and it's something like it's not groundbreaking. There's a lot of recognition that different sections of the brain operate to retrieve memories and interact with different memories and stimuli. So, but yeah, it's just the research that's involved in this is quite an interesting read, and unfortunately I don't have the DOI on the original research in the link that I provided, but I have gone and read the original paper, and yeah, it gets very in depth, but yeah, quite an interesting read for people who are wanting to learn about the brain and why you make bad decisions, such as keep going back to being treated badly by someone who's a jerk.
Yeah, does it? Yeah, although mind you, it also does phrase into question whether the circuitry can be changed as well, because from what we're seeing here, it's saying that it doesn't. You can't really change the circuitry. Once it's changed, it's done forever.
No, because there's a lot of research that shows neuroplasticity and reordering behavior of the brain, but you have to understand what's happening to be able to affect change in anything, and in particular with the brain, with all the neural patterns and so forth. I won't go too in depth because I'll start zoning out into another space, but the teaching the brain to relearn how to do things and form new memories and pathways is actually quite easy if you have someone who knows what they're doing and put in the time and effort. But you have to understand what's actually going on to be able to do it.
Kind of the key thing in experimental PTSD treatments, isn't it?
Yeah, like we actually spoke about this once before. I think I did a research paper looking at a thing called fear extinction in relation to PTSD. So the formation of new memories and so forth, where you activate the neurons associated with that memory and then record new memories over the top of it. And they've actually shown, there's science reviews on TED Talk and everything like that where they actually talk about the generation of new memories and introducing false memories through neural stimulation. So it's pretty high level once you start looking at some of those aspects of it, but this is a good introduction to the basics of the concepts that are involved.
It does this also takes into doubt as well the whole hypnotic suggestions.
Well, that's been in doubt for bloody ever.
Hypnotic suggestion is you have to be open to the suggestion. You aren't going to do things you aren't already predisposed to being willing to do. So there's heaps of research on it. The hypnotic suggestion is basically similar to the self-fulfilling prophecy. You understand what that is?
Yeah.
So the self-fulfilling prophecy, for those who don't understand, when a person makes a prophecy, people look for examples of it happening, or they try to subconsciously try to make it happen, which is how curses operate. So you get a voodoo witch doctor or whatever it is that they have, puts a curse on you. It's your belief in it. It makes it a reality. So there's tons of research on that sort of stuff. If you believe something's going to happen, you'll make it happen yourself subconsciously. And the power of the mind over the physical structure of the body is well documented, that the power of positive thinking has helped people beat cancer. But at the same time, there is a limit on how far it can go. The more we understand of it, the better we can be.
Yeah, it's that whole what's that other? There used to be a thing called The Secret, which was basically the same concept as well.
That was just a gimmicking thing, profiting off of the idea of power of positive thinking and so forth. And a lot of people sell this sort of stuff, but most of them are charlatans. It's the same as there's an entire industry with one particular guy profiting off of the Mozart concept.
Playing Mozart to babies?
Yeah. Like, the Mozart effect is a load of hokum. It's been shown and proven. There's literally tons of literature into it, and the original experiment, even the person who conducted it only said there was only a minimal variance between playing Mozart and normal music in the arousal of the brain, and it was only a temporary increase in the intelligence of the individuals, and it was only on the spatial recognition on the Stanford Binet IQ test. So the applications are very limited, but there's research that shows that there's support for the hypothesis that playing music exercises and stimulates all of the brain and activates it, creating an aroused state in the brain, which then means the brain's functioning at a higher level. Yeah, you understand why I said we shouldn't go too high into this, because I start getting too nerdy and geeky.
Yeah. Basically, these positive thinking life coach types can have an influence on you. Like Buck said, if you think about it hard enough, you will make it happen, instead of it will influence you to take a path that will lead to it. But it's not some magic. It's not going to completely change your life without you putting in a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to sell you on the lie that it will do it without the hard work.
There's no instant quick fix gimmick, which is what The Secret seemed to promise. Like, the biggest proponent for or exponent, I should say, for The Secret was Oprah. This will make your life so much better. She was already a billionaire when she said that. Like, life was already pretty good.
Until she started saying, "You get a car, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car."
She didn't have to pay for it. It was all given, like, it was all sponsored. She never paid for that. And even if she did, it's a tax write-off.
And then she shut down her book club because it turned out the author that she'd interviewed was a complete con.
Yeah.
Oprah. She will never grow. Her antics will never grow old.
I don't know. I kind of got concerned about that show when Tom Cruise was jumping up and down on the lounge.
I mean, if I see Tom Cruise anywhere, I'm concerned.
Yeah, it was. Have you seen the clip of him jumping up and down on the lounge in excitement?
Yeah, I have.
He looks like a chimpanzee on methamphetamines going crazy.
Wasn't it after the fact that he was excited in love because he was marrying another woman at the time, and he was going through this whole Scientology buzz?
Hey, what? Speak up, boy.
And you're saying I was going to get in trouble for saying about Hitler.
Wasn't it because like Tom Cruise was in love and he was also crazy in Scientology at the time?
Yeah, he's still into Scientology.
And you can't say he's crazy.
Okay, how about insane? Does that help?
Are you qualified to pass this definition and diagnosis?
Uh-oh. No.
That, folks, is the penny dropping.
Anyways, moving on. Professor, you've got a story about game piracy going on.
Don't buy games from G2A.
There you have it, folks. That's the take-home message for tonight.
Yeah.
So what game are you playing, DJ? So tell us more about G2A and why we shouldn't buy games from them.
G2A sounds fairly innocuous. They're a key reseller. The idea is that if you end up with a copy of a game that you don't want, you can sell the activation code to someone else and they can get it in their Steam library using G2A. And they act as the middleman, sort of like eBay.
Okay.
But the problem is people were actually going out and stealing credit cards, buying a ton of games and selling them on G2A and getting away with it because when the credit card gets revoked by the bank, the game developer gets no money because the charges were fraudulent, but the buyer still has their 100 copies of whatever game, which they dump on G2A for a couple of bucks each and basically launder their money through it.
Fair enough. I could understand them being upset there then.
See, I always thought when Steam first came out, I thought gaming piracy would be a thing of the past. Like, no more like burning a game on the CD and giving it to a friend of yours. Like,
it
back
was
in
a
the day.
huge impact on the piracy scene because a big part of piracy is service availability, and that's what they're providing to reduce piracy. But game developers are coming out and saying pirate your game from the torrent site instead of buying it from G2A, because it's not just that the games on G2A are stolen, it actually costs the developers money. They have to pay fees for the fraudulent transactions. They have to deal with deactivating keys if they choose to take that part and having people upset with them because their key got revoked. Because when your key gets revoked, people don't think that it's people don't think, for some reason, don't think I bought it from a cheap place. Maybe it's dodgy. They go and rant about the developer.
Mm-hmm.
So have game studios decided to put any anti-piracy policy like systems as a result?
There's not any way they can really do that because buying a game on G2A, it's a perfectly legal game. It's not like you're making a copy of the game. It's like you're walking into a shop, picking up a copy of the game, and paying for it with counterfeit money. It's not something that the developer can detect unless they get a report from the bank that this particular card number was used in a fraudulent transaction, which they can then use to revoke that particular transaction.
Yeah, I feel sorry for. I know in this day and age we always bash on like developers like EA and Epic Games.
Only the bad ones.
But in this case, I don't know, man. Like, I feel sorry for them. Like, I know they have scummy business practices and all, but I don't know. This is kind of scummy in a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's literally selling stolen goods out of the back of your van. It's not there's nothing legal or ethical about it, and you're doing more damage to the company than you would if you just downloaded the game, because you're costing them money in dealing with the fraudulent transactions.
Can you imagine bringing back those you know how in some of those commercials he would say like, you wouldn't steal a car, you wouldn't steal a handbag, you would download a movie.
Yeah, the one that used pirated music. Because the people who made the ad didn't actually have the license for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that is funny. Oh man, I gotta admit though, like so have agency police and other agencies got themselves involved yet in this scenario, or are they gonna keep
Not that
keep
I
it?
know of. I don't think they can go after G2A because they're probably based overseas somewhere. But obviously, the local police would go after the credit card thieves. I just don't know where. Here we go. They were founded in Poland, but are based out of Hong Kong.
Nothing dodgy in that at all.
Yeah, I don't see what anyone could do to stop G2A doing this, except somehow make it illegal for them to continue operating.
Well, isn't it with a lot of the games on groups like Steam, you're purchasing the game for yourself or as a gift?
Yeah, so it's against the license.
Yeah.
But that's hard to enforce.
Well,
and the EULA doesn't really have any standing.
Okay. I'm sure there's a way they could come up with stopping it.
Well, I do remember
when the key gets revoked, they can just go, your key has been found to be involved in fraudulent activity.
Well, I do remember a couple of games that put anti-piracy.
But it's not piracy in the normal sense. It's a legit key that's been purchased fraudulently.
Yeah.
So it's not piracy in the normal sense.
Yeah.
It's actually taking a legitimate copy and selling it for legal tender, but you're stealing it by fraudulent payment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I this definitely really reeks of piracy, but you're right. It does. It's not piracy in the sense that I'm not thinking about. You're right. Like I said to the professor, I feel sorry for the game developers and the people involved. I mean, we bash on EA and Epic Game Store for their shitty activities, but this is.
Well, see, EA would actually be the best ones to be able to combat this. They could just say it's a surprise mechanism.
Oh dear Lord! Have you heard the latest few stupidity from that debacle though?
No.
The latest one. What was the latest one? Loot boxes are freedom of speech. Getting rid of it is like freedom of speech.
Wow.
Was that endorsed by Israel Folau?
Oh god! And what's the other one? Loot boxes are like baseball cards, which is a false equivalency in a sense.
I'm trying to work out that.
Remember what happened last time when we said if you bring up loot boxes, we'll kill you?
And I didn't even lead you into it.
Well, you kind of did.
You went there all on your own. You're the one who came out on your own with it. I just said surprise mechanisms.
I agree with you there, but what I'm trying to the point is though,
this would be interesting because he doesn't have a point.
The point I'm trying to make is that is there a line where we should feel sorry for the game developers as a whole, game in the game design front?
It hampers game development. There's no doubt about it. But it's I don't know about feeling sorry for them, but I can understand their position because it's criminal activity and they're just trying to combat it. That's all.
Yeah, it's basically desperation. They don't have any legal method to stop this, so they're basically trying to limit the impact that it has on their finance.
And also, if they go broke, then they're not going to keep producing games, are they? And we'll only end up with a group such as EA who just rip your guts out and throw them across the concrete and call it profit.
Yeah. Anywho, moving along. So, what have you been playing, Buck?
I've been playing Mafia 3.
Ooh, that's gonna be fun.
It has been running around New Bordeaux, which is a thinly veiled reference to New Orleans. This time, you're not actually a mafioso. You're a returned Vietnam vet who's African American and grown up in a impoverished, racially prejudiced area. You come back from having been in Vietnam as a special forces soldier, and you're having a party, and you find that the guy who was your crime boss, but also kind of like a father and the guy who's kind of like a brother are getting hassled. So you go do something about that, and then they get murdered by the mafia. So you go after the mafia and you start going out and killing off the bad guys and consolidating power and taking over the city with the help of a CIA liaison.
I gotta love the old days.
What?
Gotta love the old mafia days.
I am completely gobsmacked.
You realise then to get those good old mafia days, you'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to talk about the mafia.
But yeah, that's a good synopsis in essence. It's a good synopsis.
Yeah. After I've gotten through the first part where I've taken over 3 districts and taken over the rackets, and I'm moving into the next stage where you actually get car racing as part of it, so you can actually race cars and get upgrades for the car, and also further consolidate power by going after a whole new level of criminal enterprise. But yeah, you build up your money and you upgrade your guns and your cars and so forth. It's easier to steal cars in this one. You just smash the window and jump in and hotwire it and drive off, or you open the door and I need to borrow your car and kick the person out. But yeah.
Do you get to do the old shakedown as well?
What do you mean shakedown?
As in going to the shop and say like, oh, that's a very nice looking product there. But it'd be a shame if they tumble down.
No.
You're playing against the mafia. You're not the mafia.
Well, no, you are playing as a criminal mastermind. Like you're taking over all the things, but you're not part of the mafia. But you can go into shops. Like there's items you need, such as the special fuses because you tap the phone, so you have to get special fuses that you use to build a bug that get you put onto the phone junction boxes. And some of those are in the back of shops, and there's also medical kits in some of the shops and that as well. But they're in restricted areas. So when you go in there, you get the store owner comes in. What are you doing in here, boy? You're not supposed to be in here. You know, we don't have your kind in their shop, because he's not white. So yeah, you can punch them and knock them out, and then take what you need, and then also rob them to get the cash that you need to pay for your medical stuff and upgrades and ammunition and whatnot.
Nice.
You can do silent takedowns. So you ambush a person by hiding behind something, and you whistle. They come over looking for you, and you stick a knife through their neck.
Brutal.
Well, they do call it a brutal takedown.
It's interesting though. The way you were describing it feels like a GTA game, but it's not a GTA game in essence, isn't it?
Well, a lot of the stuff in this is it follows on very similar to some of the other 2 Mafia games, Mafia 1 and 2, where you build up the bits and pieces, and you've got the character from Mafia 2 is actually in this game, and he becomes one of your underbosses. So yeah, for those who have played Mafia 2, Vito Skeletor returns.
You know what I reckon would be really good in a Mafia type game? You know the Nemesis system from that Middle-earth game?
Shadow of War.
Shadow of Mordor first.
Yeah.
I'd love to see some of the mechanics in this become a little bit more fluid. So it's a little bit jerky in some ways. So I'd love to see it adopt the same mechanics as what you have in Skyrim and that sort of game, where it's a bit smoother. But yeah, overall it's fun. You get to run around. You get all the different cars and trucks. One of the jobs I've had to do is go steal semi-trailers for bootleg produce to sell through the smuggling operation that I take over. So I get to drive a semi-trailer through the bayou and then through town. You get boats. You have to go pick up drugs or marijuana for the drug operation. So you get to drive all different sorts of boats. They've got fan boats. And if you happen to have an inordinate number of bodies you want to dispose of without being seen, you can dispose of them in the rivers where there's alligators who will come and eat them, or the bodies will sink.
Lovely.
Yep.
Feeding the wildlife.
That's it. You're giving back to nature.
And thus begins the circle of life.
But when you commit a crime, if you you have witnesses, some of them will run to make a phone call. You can go and knock them out before they make the call.
Yeah, hopefully that works better than it does in GTA, where there's a bug that lets wildlife report you to the police.
I haven't had any wildlife making phone calls yet because they've got to run to a payphone to make the call.
Yeah, I suppose they didn't have mobiles in 19... Oh, wait, when is this one set? After Vietnam, so early 70s?
So early 70s sort of thing.
So
they've got the radio, like when you're in the cars driving around or in shops and so forth, you hear the radio stations and you get all the different radio stations playing different bits and pieces. So like some of it is just pure redneck, where there's a white guy who's a Korean War vet who's on trial as part of this, because they talk. There's always talk about the civil rights stuff because that's all happening at the time, and the anti-segregation bills and everything. And there's a white guy who's a Korean War vet who's in trouble because he shot two, in the words from the game, these two young Negroes who came up onto his porch, and he thought they were there to kill him. What are you supposed to expect them to be there for? And so he shot them. But they were there because they had a flat tire and were asking for help.
Sounds a bit like they're trying to dive into the deeper issues like we were talking about last week with child soldiers in COD.
I think they're just presenting the realities of what the environment was. Rather, like they're not trying to do anything about it. They're just saying this is how it was, which is one of the things with Mafia 1 and 2. There was a lot of stuff they did in that was the same, where it's the Italian immigrants when they first, in Mafia 1 and Mafia 2, it talks about when the Italian immigrants first came to America, a lot of them didn't speak a lot of English, and the criminal organizations taking over were from within them, like from within the community, and taking control and making so people were basically starving.
It's like the old grandfather stories you hear, like, I first came to America, all I had was $100 and a pile of clones and an old suitcase.
Well, if you had $100 back in those days, you were rich.
Okay, okay, scratch the $100. $3. I had only $3 and I made it.
Yeah, well, you got like some of the songs that are playing, like they got the songs that are playing on the radio and stuff are actual songs from the era too, because this was like around the Woodstock era. So you got the hippies.
Yes.
But no Marvel.
We definitely need to make a bingo sheet for a weekly podcast. We definitely need to make a bingo sheet for this.
Do we?
You keep saying this, but you never do it. Like, what's stopping you?
Oh, I'm just trying to figure out what the other space is.
Well, we could talk about we could also have you talk about something and not doing it and procrastinating.
Man. Anyways, Professor, what have you been
he moved on pretty quickly from that one.
Yes, he has.
So, Professor, what have you been playing?
I've been playing the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
You haven't been playing the ukulele?
No.
Oh, God.
I have one outside.
Well, it's just the DJ just asked what you've been playing.
Yeah.
You could have said my ding-a-ling.
Oh. Anyways, Professor, so how do you find the game so far?
I'm enjoying it. It still holds up pretty well. It's classic 90s platformer stuff with bright colors and all of that.
You got to bring Spyro back to the same level.
They have actually.
I heard that
Spyro Remastered came out earlier this year.
My sister-in-law will be in heaven.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's coming to Switch, which I'm planning on picking up when I can. Because I love Spyro.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Oh, the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, it comes out Nintendo Switch September 3rd, 2019.
Oh, so have they included any new aspects to the game, or is it just the same old Crash Bandicoot?
They've added in a few bonus levels that are based off prototype levels that got cut from the game, and they made it so you can play as his sister Coco.
Okay.
For the games that she wasn't in, because the plot of the third game involves a time machine. So they're like, of course, she could have just time traveled back.
Mm-hmm. And how many masks are you collecting?
You don't really collect the masks. They're more for they're basically shield.
Okay. It's so long since I played Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
I just remember they had the masks. You had to catch it. You had to collect masks for bonus stuff and all that sort of things.
Do you reckon, though, we're seeing a resurgence of the good old platform games?
Yeah.
You mean going back
There
to
are a lot
games
of
that are
good
fun
ones.
instead of battle royales?
That's true. That's true.
Hey,
There was
there you
one that
go.
only lasted a couple of hours before Nintendo shut it down. That was Mario Royale, which was it was the original Mario. It's a Royale game where you mostly can't interact with the other players, but you can steal items by grabbing them first. And if you get a star, you can just sprint through and kill everyone.
Hang on. The original Mario was in Donkey Kong.
Okay, the second Mario, or the third one, or whatever the first Mario game was.
Yeah, see, a lot of people forget that. The original Mario was in Donkey Kong trying to rescue Princess Peach from Donkey Kong.
Although he wasn't Mario, he was Jumpman.
No, it was Mario.
Okay.
Like the actual character and everything. I from what I could remember, the name was Mario.
Yeah, like it's the same character, but they called him Jumpman back then.
Okay, here you go. So it says here, while the protagonist was unnamed in the Japanese release, he would be named Jumpman in the game's English instructions and Mario in the sales brochure.
Can't hear you. Speak up.
So it's basically he was in Donkey Kong, and the protagonist was unnamed in the Japanese release. He would be named Jumpman in the game's English instructions and Mario in the sales brochure.
Ah, there you go. He was called Mario.
All right.
But yeah, so any other new surprises besides the additional characters?
Not that I've found.
They haven't introduced a battle royale or a MOBA
Fortunately
or
not.
sandpit.
So
Fortunately, they've kept it pure.
Well, as I was saying though, like it's good to see like all these platformer games coming out though. Like they've once upon a time released the remastered version of Donkey Kong, and I was pretty amazed by that. Although I was jealous that I was kind of jealous that I didn't get a Nintendo at the time.
Well, they haven't re-released the original Donkey Kong yet.
You mean the good old Donkey Kong adventures?
No, the original Donkey Kong was Donkey Kong at the top as the bad guy throwing barrels down at you.
Not that. I meant the other one, but okay, fair enough. I meant Donkey Kong Country, but yeah. Ah, man.
But see, you had, what was it? Was it Monkey Island? Was about the same time as that on PC, and that was a lot more fun because it was the puzzles and challenges were a lot more intellectually stimulating.
Monkey Island came out. The first one came out in 1990,
Mm-hmm.
and the latest one came out in 2010. That's a special edition.
Yeah.
Mind you.
Well, what game have you been playing, though, DJ?
I've been playing Apex Legends. So Season 2 has came out today, and wow, it's a very interesting setup they've got there. So now you've got dragons.
Are they live dragons?
Yes, they are. They are live dragons, and you've got a new hero by the name of Watson as well. She's more of the she creates force fields, but not like the other competitor in Apex Legends though.
Okay. Well, we need one that they'll have to bring in another one that uses the Thune
The
to
Thune.
defeat the dragons.
But yeah, so they've also changed the map completely. So there's like I said, there's huge gigantic monsters now in the middle of the field, so that makes the game even more crazier.
Mm-hmm.
What else does? I'm just looking at Watson's abilities. So she's got perimeter security. That's attack. That just basically connects the nodes to create electrified fences. Your passive is basically ultimate accelerants can charge your ultimate ability, fully charge them, and your ultimate is basically interception pylon. Basically, attaching a pylon that destroys incoming inordinates and repairs damaged shields as long as it stands.
You're starting to whisper. Is there a problem?
Yeah, I'm starting to cough. But yeah, Season 2 has been very interesting. I want to try out the dragons though. They look cool.
Can you ride the dragons like Spyro?
I think you can. I've been wanting to ride one, but they were like, "Nah, you can't. Get away." someone
That's
beats.
is that just because it's you, or just part of the game?
It's
No.
part of the game. You have to pick one.
Yeah, you can't actually ride them. You can kill them though and get good loot. And if you kill one, apparently the death box is a random developer's name or someone off your friend list.
Okay. You had me all excited there that we're going to be able to ride dragons, DJ.
I know, right? I know.
Oh, the disappointment for our listeners. They're going to be going, that darn DJ.
Oh man, but yeah, I want to play more now. I really want to play more. Anyway, so onwards to our shoutouts. We've got 2nd of July, 1839. Slaves aboard a Spanish schooner, La Amistad, revolt to secure their freedom while being transported from one Cuban port to another. And they made a movie out of it. Good movie.
Mm-hmm.
2nd of July 1900, LC-1, also known as the Luftschiff Zeppelin 1, made its maiden flight. The first flight lasted about 18 minutes and covered about 3.5 miles over Lake Constance at Friedrichshafen in southern Germany, not far from the Swiss border.
DJ, how many babies are in the room with you?
A couple of babies.
Then speak up, because I don't care if the baby's sleeping.
So the
It's
first
sounding
flight,
creepy.
It's not ASMR. ASMR is a pleasant sound.
So the first flight of the LZ-1, accumulation of years of planning by its creator, Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin.
What a great name.
That's interesting though. Its first flight was basically 18 minutes long and covered 3.5 miles.
And how long have you flown?
This flight was like 10 seconds.
Wait, you mean the Kitty Hawk?
No, I mean the Wright Flyer at Kitty Hawk. Kitty Hawk was the place.
I always thought Kitty Hawk was the plane, but
It is a plane, but it wasn't one for years until like years later.
Yeah, it was named in remembrance of that.
Okay, I stand corrected.
And don't you forget it.
On the 4th of July, 1776, Independence Day, colloquially known as the 4th of July, is a federal holiday in the United States commemorating the Declaration of Independence of the United States on the 4th of July, 1776. The Continental Congress declared that the 13 American colonies were no longer subject to the monarch of Britain and were now united, free, and independent states. The Congress had voted to declare independence 2 days earlier on July 2nd, but it was not declared until July the 4th. So happy 4th of July, America. So onward to our remembrances. 2nd of July, 1850. So Robert Peel, second baronet, was a British statesman and Conservative Party politician who served twice as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and twice as Home Secretary. He's regarded as the father of modern British policing by founding the Metropolitan Police Service, leading to a new type of police officer known in tribute of him as Bobbies and Peelers. He also reformed and liberalized criminal law. He died from a horse riding accident at 62 in Westminster, Middlesex. I wonder where was the law at that time.
Well, the law has nothing to do with horse riding. Horses, being animals, are not constrained by our silly human laws.
Well, there are laws that govern their usage and so forth, but a horse riding accident is an accident.
That's true. 7th of July, 1999, Mario Gianluigi Puzo was an American author, screenwriter, and journalist. He's known for his crime novels about the Italian-American mafia, most notably The Godfather, which he later co-adapted into a 3-part film saga directed by Francis Ford Coppola. He received the Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay for the first film in 1972 and Part 2 in 1974. Puzo also wrote the original screenplay for the 1978 Superman film. His final novel, The Family, was released posthumously in 2001. He died of heart failure at 78 in West Bay Shore, New York.
Heart failure is another thing that doesn't respect our laws.
Yeah, so rude of it.
Well, okay,
There we go.
I'm going to say something about now I think about that. Don't worry about it. 2nd of July 2008, Elizabeth Spriggs was an English character actress. Spriggs' role with the Royal Shakespeare Company Nurse in Romeo and Juliet, Gertrude in Hamlet, and Beatrice in Much Ado About Nothing. In 1978, she won the Olivier Award for Best Supporting Actress for the Arnold Wesker's Love Letters on Blue Paper. She received a BAFTA nomination for Best Supporting Actress for the 1995 film Sense and Sensibility. Her other films include Richard's Things, Impromptu, Paradise Road, and Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, which she, interestingly enough, was the fat lady in the portrait. She died at 78 in Oxford, Oxfordshire. Now to the famous birthdays. 2nd of July, 1877, Hermann Hesse, German-born poet, novelist, and painter. Best-known works include Damien, Steppenwolf, Siddhartha, and The Glass Bead Game, each of which explores an individual's search for authenticity, self-knowledge, and spirituality. In 1976, he received the Nobel Prize in Literature. He was born in Chor-Wattenberg. 2nd of July 1908, Thurgood Marshall, American lawyer serving as American Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States from October 1967 until October 1991. Marshall was the court's 96th justice and its first African-American justice. Prior to this judicial system, he successfully argued several cases before the Supreme Court, including Brown v. Board of Education, which held the racial segregation in public education is a violation of the Equal Protection Clause. He was born in Baltimore, Maryland.
Now, Thurgood Marshall, American lawyer, does follow our laws. Our being human laws, not Australian laws, obviously.
American laws, not human laws.
Oh.
Some of them are humans.
I didn't say they weren't, but they're not. Their laws aren't human laws.
Fair enough.
3rd of July 1935, Harrison Schmitt, American geologist, retired at NASA Astronaut University professor, former U.S. Senator from New Mexico, and a crew member of the Apollo 17, the most recent living person to have walked on the moon. As Apollo 17 was the last of the Apollo mission, he also became the 12th and second youngest person to set foot on the moon, and the second to last person to step off of the moon. Schmitt also remains the first and only professional scientist to have flown beyond low Earth orbit and to have visited the moon. He was born in Santa Rita, New Mexico. And finally, to our events of interest, 2nd of July 1843, an alligator falls from the sky during a thunderstorm in Charleston, South Carolina.
Alligators don't follow the laws.
Well, they follow the laws of nature. In this particular case, the laws of gravity.
True.
Wow, the professor's getting beaten.
Not as badly as you were.
Oh, I don't know, Professor. I don't know about that.
Well, that's the problem. You don't know.
2nd of July 1956, Elvis records Hound Dog and Don't Be Cruel during exhaustive recording session at RCA Studios in New York City.
Do you think he was speaking a bit more clearly and loudly than the DJ?
I'm going to have to do so much audio processing.
And finally, on the 3rd of July 1938, world speed record for steam locomotive is set in England by the Mallard, which reaches a speed of 125.88 miles per hour, which is 202.58 kilometers per hour. That's
fast.
Oh yeah, that's very, very fast. So you guys got anything to add? Close shop?
Where can they find us, DJ?
They can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at namalgamated. They can find us on that'snotcanon.com, where we have an archive of our old episodes and merchandise. They can email us at nerds.amalgamated@gmail.com. You can also find on that'snotcanon.com a raft of our other podcast series, such as General Queries and Off with the Fairies, and Everybody Wants to Be a Cat.
I don't want to be a cat.
I don't either.
I want to be a Labrador.
I feel misrepresented.
Yes.
I should sue them for discrimination.
And misrepresentation. After all, it says in the law, false advertising is something they got to be answerable for.
Anyways, guys, any other announcements before we
Yeah, we'd like to make an apology for the DJ sounding like he's an obscene phone call this week.
He's just got a new job and he needs to practice.
We don't know what the job is, but yeah.
Anyways, that's it for this week, and see you guys.
See you next week.
Remember to take care of yourselves, look out for each other, and stay hydrated. Hooroo.